This Wrestler Profile is brought to you in part by WrestleCrate.co.uk. If you sign up for WrestleCrate.co.uk by May 12th and use promo code DeadOnDave, not only will you save 10% on your first WrestleCrate, but you will also be getting this.
Real talk, the Metaphor Messiah, man. I got this one. Let's go. You ever seen the morning star? Mr. Metaphor Messiah, back to show you who we are. I represent a legacy, a pothead like the 70s, a different kind of mind. They say we only speak in melodies.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Dead on Dave coming at you for Wrestling Reportedly's Wrestler Profile, the show where we take a wrestler in the wrestling world who is deserving, who needs to be profiled. And this week, we've got you a doozy. The Eater of Worlds, man. That's right, Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt is an interesting case study in any type of wrestling business acumen. However you want to take it, Bray Wyatt is interesting. From where he's come from to where he's going to what he's currently doing, Bray Wyatt is constantly interesting, but not always for good reasons. So let's get into him and talk about everything that is Bray Wyatt. And of course, we start with his background. Now, most of you know that Bray Wyatt is not only the son of Mike Rotunda, Erwin R. Shyster, but his real name is Wyndham Lawrence Rotunda. Why? Because he is the grandson of Blackjack Mulligan, and his uncles are Barry and Kendall Wyndham. That's right. This guy comes from wrestling royalty. He and his younger brother, Taylor, you would also know him as Bo Dallas. So this is a family that has grown up in the industry. Bray Wyatt knows what it takes to be a successful wrestler. There's no question about that. He is born and bred that way. Now, he came into WWE back in the FCW days and has gone through NXT in different variations. The original NXT variation, as a matter of fact, he was part of the Nexus. So this guy has been around for a long time, and he's been in WWE, ingrained, indoctrinated basically his entire career. There's a very interesting background of Mr. Bray Wyatt, and one that you have to constantly ask, well, what's next? Well, to do that, we have to look at what he's currently doing well, and that means his strengths. Bray Wyatt certainly does have a lot of strength. Psychology seems to be his strongest suit. He's able to get in people's minds in a very methodical and deep-seated way. He's very interesting and captivating in his movements and mannerisms and the way he's able to deliver lines. Not only that, in the ring, he's imposing. He's a big guy. He moves incredibly well for a man of his size. Yes, his body weight does fluctuate a little bit too much, but that's part of the intrigue that is Bray Wyatt. You just never know how he's going to be coming at you, and that's always fun. He seems to be very, very strong suited for a either brawling style or even mat-based psychological wrestling. He seems to do both very, very well. Tons of upside to Bray Wyatt from just his look, it factor, charisma, and ring presence. And really, not only that, the fact that he can deliver the goods in the ring as well. Tons of upside for Bray Wyatt, but that doesn't always tell the tale. No. For that, we've also got to look at his weaknesses. You know, it's a funny thing about Bray Wyatt's weaknesses, man. When you look at it, he doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of them other than the biggest one. It's one of those things where you look at it, you're looking, you're like, oh God, there's the Grand Canyon, this giant hole. But it's really not his fault. His biggest weakness is his current gimmick. And it's not even that the gimmick is necessarily bad. It's just too supernatural. It's too hokey. And it's been done so well. Sometimes In the wrestling world, a gimmick is done so well that it can never be duplicated, especially when it's in the supernatural realm. The Undertaker did this gimmick so well that it can't possibly be done again. But that doesn't mean the gimmick has to die. Bray Wyatt, as a creepy friggin' cult leader type, televangelist, religious speaker in almost a certain way, is good in and of itself. What you need to cut out is quite simple. These creepy vignettes, the House of Horrors, the smoke, the lightning that he does, all these weird things that he does. But you keep the singing, you keep the fireflies, you keep all of that. You keep the entire illusion that he is holding people in the palm of his hand, because he does it with crowds each and every night. So while there are certain weaknesses within the gimmick, just because it cannot possibly work in this climate anymore, it doesn't mean that it is a detriment to his overall growth. So that all leads us to where he currently stands within wrestling and the WWE. So what is his current standing? Well, that's a tough question, because Bray Wyatt seems to be a guy that they'll push, and then use everything that he gained in a small period of time to put someone or something else over. It's very disjointed. You never know how to feel about Bray Wyatt, because he simply doesn't win or doesn't dominate for long enough stretches of time to be able to make you believe not only in his physical abilities within the ring, but his mental capacities outside of it. How can you continue to hypnotize and captivate people in the locker room if you cannot beat any of the top guys, if you cannot take that next step? Fact is, yes, he did win a WWE championship recently, and yes, he beat John Cena technically to do it, but that doesn't tell the tale. He didn't beat him in a one-on-one situation. He wasn't put over in a very strong way. He did it in an elimination chamber, which where anything can happen and anything goes. Makes things a little bit more difficult to really determine exactly how we should feel about him. And then in his first serious title defense, he loses. He loses and cannot recapture. So it's kind of hard to see where he's going to go, because it does always seem like he's just going to be focusing in on one person and then try to destroy them mentally without having a clear goal of where he wants to go next. And that could always be a problem, but it doesn't mean that it's a stake in the chest. So the question is, that's where he stands. Where's his projection lie? Well, this is almost as interesting of a question as what his standing is, because he can continue to be on this same path and have a very productive career, but not legendary, nothing substantial. Nothing tangible, nothing that makes you go, wow, this guy was one of the greats. But here's the thing, he's got all the tools. His ceiling is high. He captivates people. He's charismatic. He moves well. He's big. He's got the family lineage. He has everything you could possibly want in a superstar. But things always hold him back. Is it the things that make him inherently great that also is what leads to WWE holding him back, like his look? Or is there something else? Are there things that we don't understand? Or is he simply still young enough, because I believe he's still around 30 years old, that he's in the due paying period of his career, which back in the day was a much longer period of time. You didn't become a star until you've been around 10 years, and not just around the industry, but in the company. You had to pay your dues. It was very rare for a guy to immediately burst on the scene in the olden days and get that push, get that pop, become that guy immediately. Didn't happen very often. Now with the independent promotions and things like that, people have an expectation, and even with NXT to a degree, people have an expectation when a guy comes in, they are the guy. But that's rarely the case, and probably shouldn't be the case, because there's nothing to actually build upon based off of what you did in other places. So hopefully what's going to be happening with his projection and everything that's going forward from this moment, he will continue to grow and be utilized in a way that we can all grow with him and appreciate the splendor, man. of the Eater of Worlds, Bray Wyatt. Well, that's all I've got, at least. That's my thoughts on him. What are your thoughts on Bray Wyatt? What do you think about him? Is he a superstar in the making, or is he simply just another guy with a hell of a lot of upside that does not accomplish much in the realm of WWE? Does the machine tear him up, chew him up, and spit him out, or will he become something greater that we all think he can be? And what do you think is the biggest thing that holds him back? Because that's what I'm really interested in, is what you guys think is holding him back. Is it simply just WWE short-sightedness, or is it the fact that his gimmick is so hard to take seriously, thus you don't take him seriously? I'd love to hear from you guys. Hit me up in the comment section below, or on Dead on Dave V on Twitter, at Dead on Dave V. Make sure you hit me up there. Also, check out my friends over at WrestleCrate.co.uk. Use promo code Dead on Dave to save 10% off your first block, and you'll get the Kenny Omega item. If you do it in the next day, Kenny Omega item, you'll get 3 autographs and a t-shirt, DVDs, all kinds of stuff. If you're a wrestling fan, it's a must-have. Go check it out. And as always, I want to know who you want me to profile next. Hit me up with suggestions in the comment section or on my Twitter. Thank you very much for joining us right here for your wrestler profile. We will see you next time. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. See you guys later, and peace.
Here's your winner,